Down to six. That's right, Astros fans. It's down to six, and the Astros have 18 games remaining until the end of the season. That's when the playoffs will start. Well, not right away for the Astros, but definitely soon after that. And everything's looking great. Aledmys Diaz is back, and he had the game-winning, game go-ahead home run in this game, and so much for us to discuss. Justin Verlander's back on the hill. We'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett's not here tonight, but he'll be back on Sunday. Thank you for covering me yesterday, Brett. I had a great time at the 21 Pilots concert. It was great. But I'm back here, Locked On Astros, and this was it was just a great way of actually I was actually able to watch the entire game today. And Lance McCullers looks like he was on his game today. Yes, he made that one pitch that was a little bit off, that allowed the 2-run single to give them to the A's the lead. But unfortunately, the Astros were able to take the lead later in the game. So we'll talk about this. But today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. So basically, you need to subscribe to us on YouTube and go ahead and make us your first listen on your way to work, and just listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. That's what I did on my way to work this morning. I listened to Brett and Ben talk about the Astros, and that's what you do. So make us your first listen every day. So let's talk about today's game. There's a lot of good things to talk about, and definitely because it's Roberto Clemente Day, and I was getting a haircut earlier, and I was watching the Rays game, and I noticed that the entire Rays lineup were wearing the number 21, and I thought that was pretty awesome that they actually had a all Latino lineup, and that was the first time in Major League Baseball history that a team has done that on Roberto Clemente Day. So that was pretty awesome, and definitely something that is really impressive. So the Rays, I believe, went on to win that game, and so it's either the Rays or maybe the Blue Jays, or one of those teams is going to be who the Astros are going to be facing in the playoffs. But for right now, the Astros, they had some people representing Roberto Clemente as well: Jose Altuve, Martin Maldonado, Christian Vazquez, Joe Espada, and Alex Centron wore 21 in honor of Roberto Clemente. And of course, Jose Altuve also was honored today as the Astros nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award, which recognizes the MLB player that best represents baseball through extraordinary character, community involvement, and positive contributions both on and off the field. So that, if you think of Jose Altuve, I know people across baseball will think of, he cheated and everything, but we all know the truth. So definitely looking at, he didn't start today's game, but it was still cool for him to get the honor. And we didn't get to see him wear the actual uniform, but the Astros still got the win. But it's just cool to see everything that happened in today's game. And I know that there's a little controversy between Alvarez and Baker. Baker says one thing, and Alvarez says, "Nuh-uh, that's not right. My hands are fine." So we'll talk about that later. But first, I want to start about Lance McCullers. This guy is coming off a start where he pitched 7 innings, and he looked great. And in this game, he struck out 11, and he was just one shy of his career record 12. And I believe the last time he had 12 strikeouts was on July 29th of 2018. That was his career high. So basically, they took Dusty Baker took him out with 99 pitches. He had 11 strikeouts, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks. The 4 walks was probably what did him in today. He threw a lot of pitches in the first inning. I think it was like 21 pitches in the first inning. And so definitely, I think that if he could learn how to get through that first inning today, maybe a little bit more efficiently, he would have maybe lasted a little bit longer. But otherwise, he did a great job in this game. And if you look at what he's doing so far after coming back from, a lot of people questioned if he would even come back. And if he did, would he be a starter? Would he be a reliever? Who knows? But he's got a 2.34 ERA. What else do you want from him? He's doing great. And so he's forcing Dusty Baker's hand. We have Justin Verlander, who's coming back tomorrow. And do the Astros have a 7-man rotation? Because Hunter Brown is pitching well. You have Christian Javier coming off a pretty good game versus the Tigers. Or are the Tigers just a very bad team? Who knows? But definitely there's a lot of intriguing options in the Astros rotation. But something did happen. I don't know what's going on with Dusty Baker, but they did. Chandler Rome did send out a tweet, and he had to delete it because it was announced that Lance McCullers would pitch on Thursday. Then Friday, Justin Verlander would make his return. Then on Saturday, the original one had Luis Garcia pitching on Saturday, but then and then Sunday would be Framber Valdez. But then he had to delete it because the Astros informed him that there was an error, and it was actually supposed to be Jose Urquidy starting on Saturday. So me thinks that maybe with Justin Verlander returning, does that mean that Luis Garcia is now out of the rotation for now? So maybe Hunter Brown has earned his keep for a little bit longer. Who knows what the situation is there? I know that up next after Framber Valdez should be Hunter Brown. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if he does start, or are they going to give it to Luis Garcia? I think they will keep it at a 6-man rotation to kind of save the innings for this. But definitely that's something to just kind of keep an eye on. As far as I know, nobody's come out and said that this guy's out of rotation. This guy's not out of rotation, but we do know that Justin Verlander is returning back to rotation. And his primary concern coming back to rotation is not necessarily how many pitches he can throw. I think they're looking at getting him about 100 pitches. I think his concern is live game action and testing out that calf, because you can do all the testing, all the simulated games you want, but nothing simulates in-game action. So that's something that you can only have when you actually play in a game. And that's what we'll see tomorrow or Friday, if you're listening to it Friday, when he takes the hill. So I'm excited to see Justin Verlander back. I know that he doesn't necessarily have to reach the inning limits to technically be qualified for the Cy Young, but the ERA title is something that he definitely wants to get. And I know that if you, I think Fox Sports had a graphic earlier where Cease has the most strikeouts, and then if you look at McClanahan, he has the lowest batting average against. And then you also have, I forgot the other guy, but another guy isn't on the radar, but they didn't even mention Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez is kind of sneaking it on everybody's radar. And if he gets that 25th consecutive quality start, you're going to have to start seriously giving him some consideration for Cy Young. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of first place votes, but he should be getting some second place votes or something like that. And I don't know if I would bet on him beating out Justin Verlander, but it may be something to go put some money on. And you know where the best place to go and do that? BetOnline.net. It's their number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football league development, game matchups, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week's games. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends and action. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. And if you can't make it to Hooters to watch the game, why don't you actually go to the game? I mean, the A's are in town. You only have so many games left. Why don't you try Simple Seats? Simple Seats is this awesome place where you can just go and get the best tickets you can for the cheapest price. It's quick and easy. It's the best price you can get, and it's all in one pricing. It's not like other places where you pay these high fees. So it's they divide the venue into zones so you don't waste time searching endlessly for seats. The zone seatings equals the best value. You pick the zone, we pick the seat, you get the best possible price. There's no surprises at checkout. So if you like the seat, you're going to pay what you're paying for that seat, plus a little bit of the taxes and everything, of course. But that's it. You're not going to have any surprising fees. So ticket prices you see are the ones you pay for with all-in prices. No added fees, period. So go to simpleseats.com, and if you use the promo code LOCKEDON10, you'll get $10 off your first purchase of $50 and more. And go ahead and tell them that Locked On Astros sent you by. And really, Brett uses all time. I use it all time. It's a great place to get your tickets, especially with the playoffs coming up. It may be a good way to get your cheap playoff tickets. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what happened in today's game. We kind of talked about McCullers. Seth Martinez came in. He may be the guy on the way out with Justin Verlander coming up, but he got his first major league victory. So that's great. He has a 2.09 ERA. If you look at him based on his numbers, he does not deserve to go down. He does not deserve to go down AAA, but it's a numbers game at this point. There's really no other options to really send down. You're not going to send Will Smith down. You're not going to send Phil Maton down. You're not going to send any of those guys down. It's probably going to be Seth Martinez, unless you're going to send Hunter Brown down. But what has Hunter Brown done where he deserves to be sent down? So Seth Martinez, unfortunately, is going to get caught in a numbers game. And the rest of the the rest of the bullpen did really good job today. So, and if you look at what Montero's doing, Neris is doing, the bullpen's just getting it done. So definitely, Andrew says Maton definitely needs to be sent down. I just don't think that he's going to be sent down, guys. He is a major league reliever. You don't send those type guys down. That's like, I know Chad Qualls at the end of his days with the Astros, he wasn't the best reliever, but they're probably not going to send him down. They may leave him off the playoff roster, but they're not going to send him down to AAA. That's just not something that you do to a major league arm unless he's just terrible or something like that. If that's the case, then you DFA him, give him a chance to go on with a different team. But just remember how good Maton did last year with in the playoffs. So I think that, yeah, this is what I am saying. He was good in the playoffs, and just for some reason he turns it on in playoffs. I can't explain it, and from what I understand, it just he's just good in playoffs, and I don't know. So let's move on from this. But the big deal of today was this was the first time that Christian Vazquez has caught Lance McCullers. That's great, because if you need somebody to catch McCullers in the playoffs, you need a little more offense. You're pitching you're facing ace. You need somebody besides Martin Maldonado in there. Now they have this working relationship now. Also, he broke a big slump, and he got his first extra base hit as an Astro. And you saw, hopefully you're able to watch the game, but you should have seen his face. He was like, yes, finally. That's why I did the whole finally as the thumbnail. And it was just awesome to see his expression, because you know that after all the home runs he's hit with the Red Sox and all the extra base hits, it was just like, wow, why can't I get extra base hits with the Astros? And so now I think that he kind of got it out of the way now. I think we'll see a different Christian Vazquez, not somebody that that is just going for a single. So we'll probably see a little different guy now. So Mancini, he had a good swing too. He had a double as well. Kyle Tucker had another double. He's almost up to 100 RBIs. He's at 97. He did get caught stealing. He was trying to go for his. I think it was his. I don't know what's going on with me. Sorry, guys. But he was trying to get another stolen base, but he got caught stolen. It's only his third caught steal of the year. But Tucker had a double. Alvarez, we'll talk about Alvarez in a little bit, but he has his 22nd double of the year. But the offense came out a little bit late, but they did come out and scored some runs. And of course, Alvarez had that double early in the game to get the RBI, but he had 2 hits today. Tucker had 3 hits today. And it's just looking like this offense is getting a little bit more consistent. And yes, Altuve had a day off. And then if you look at who led off, it was Jeremy Pena. And so I think what we're seeing is that Dusty Baker is getting a little bit more faith in Jeremy Pena. He's batting him second. And I think if I remember correctly, when Dusty Baker was asked about that, well, I batted Yuli Gurriel second, and then he started taking off a little bit. So I'm going to go and bat Jeremy Pena there, and hopefully he's going to start taking off a little bit. And he has to a certain extent. He's had some good games. He still had some 0 for 5 games or so, but that's what happens when you have a rookie kid. So definitely, it's not anything to be overly concerned about, but definitely looking at the overall offense in this game, it was great, and I just hope that they're more consistent. But the big swing of today's game is somebody who just came back from IL, and that is Aledmys Diaz, and he definitely gave the Astros the lead in the 7th inning, and it was a no doubter into the Crawford boxes, and it was just a beautiful swing. And I think that Aledmys Diaz should be playing left field in the playoffs, or maybe just playing DH, or that you need to get him in the lineup. If you're going to have Alvarez in left field like you had today, you need to get Aledmys Diaz playing a lot more. So I don't know how you're going to get all these guys in, because if Mancini's starting to hit, if Alvarez is starting to hit, Diaz is starting to hit, you're going to have to find a way to get all these guys into the lineup. And so you'll have to find a way to do it. But that's a good problem to have. And that's why James Click went out and got Mancini, to have that depth, the roster depth that you need. So Christian Vazquez, would you rather have Christian Vazquez or Corey Lee as your backup catcher? Definitely you want Christian Vazquez. So I think the Astros are going to be very good with this. They're 94-50 on the season. And they're just looking like they're going to kind of coast in. They have a 6-game magic number. So we'll see what happens there. But so what's going to happen tomorrow? Who knows? I don't think even Justin Verlander really knows. He said he's hopeful he won't think about his calf tomorrow night. That's the only box I haven't checked in the game box, but I'm hopefully everything I've done to this point will put my mind at ease. It's also a lot easier to put your mind at ease when you're going out there and competing. And Josh Miller said that there's no hard pitch count, but he expects Justin Miller will throw fewer pitches than usual on Friday. And he's threw 100 pitches in 6 of his last 10 healthy starts, but he probably won't get to 100 pitches in this one. So if you're going to ask me how many he's going to throw, I would say probably 80 pitches or 5 innings in his first game back. I don't think they're going to push him. I think that's what they're going to do. So I think that's what's going to happen in that situation. So, Dusty Baker, when asked about Justin Verlander returning, oh, I think it's a miracle. It's a blessing to get him back. And Justin Verlander was asked if missing the 2.5 weeks may be a blessing in disguise when the playoffs near. He said, I would have liked to kept pitching, but in the disguise part might happen. Maybe I come back and I feel refreshed and feel stronger for a postseason run. That'll be wonderful. But just imagine if just maybe that's what he needed. Maybe, not that he was stinking up or anything, but maybe this will give him that extra Red Bull, give him some wings, and then he'll just kind of be that dominant ace that we need in the playoffs. And I just really think that Justin Verlander is going to be what the Astros didn't have last year. I know a lot of people say, well, yeah, we didn't have Lance McCullers, we didn't have Justin Verlander in the World Series last year, but it wasn't necessarily the pitching that really cost the Astros. It was the lack of hitting at certain points. But same point, if you have Verlander, then you're going to limit the offense of the other team as well. So, yeah, and yes, like Guy Webster said, it would also help limit his innings as well. And so I think that would help and make him be able to pitch a little bit deeper into the playoffs. So definitely I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what happened with Dusty Baker and Alvarez. Dusty Baker made kind of a comment that that Alvarez is sitting in, I think it was Wednesday's game, because his hands were a little sore. And he said he's sore a little bit, check swings and misses, same thing. I think it's better that we, during a day game after a night, we don't make it more sore than it already is. He's going to have to live with it for a while. You know what I mean? I don't know what hand it is. And Alvarez apparently heard about this after the game, and he asked to speak to reporters and said, I just saw this morning that Dusty said the reason why I got the day off was that my hands were sore. Thankfully, my hands don't hurt. They feel really good right now. I think there's some miscommunication. I was under the impression that it was just a scheduled day off, but thankfully, my hands feel good. So it's just kind of weird what's happening. And then I think that they asked Dusty Baker about it, and he said later, it was just a scheduled day off, a normal day rest. Okay, so what's with the miscommunication here? I mean, why are you saying one thing and then the other thing? And so this Alvarez was trying to help his manager, and he said, I think it was maybe because he meant to say, I played a couple days in a row, so today was probably going to be a good day to get a day off, but maybe he just didn't find the correct way to say it. And I understand what Dusty Baker was trying to say, but I think that he was probably just trying to say, well, with his hands, all this stuff that he's been dealing with, let's just give him a day off. I don't know if his hands are sore right now, but let's just not risk it. So, and then the whole Luis Garcia being scratched, and then you adding Jose Urquidy, that's just kind of puzzling, but maybe they could just change their mind. So I'm not going to make too big a deal about that, but it's just kind of weird. Like, who's telling truth there? Is there something going on? But Alvarez is still hitting home runs. He had a double today. He went 2 for 4. So he's still looking pretty good. So I don't know what's going on here, but it's just weird. So let's go and move on from this game. The Astros win this game 5-2, and now they look to face the A's again. Yay, because we love the A's. Tony Kemp and the A's. He's always Kemping. So tomorrow it's going to be Adrian Martinez versus Justin Verlander. Adrian Martinez is 4-4 with a 5.59 ERA. He killed me in fantasy football, baseball the other day. I was like, oh, I need a pitcher. This guy's pitched pretty well. Let me go and pick him up. And I picked him up, and never trusting the A's pitcher. But Justin Verlander is 16-3 on the season, 1.84 ERA, and he has a 154 strikeouts. But let's see who's had some success against Justin Verlander. Not a lot of people. Dermis Garcia is 1-for-2 against him. You have Sean Murphy 1-for-3 against him. Chad Pinder is 1-for-4 against him. And then Nick Allen is 1-for-2 against him. But other than that, a lot of low batting averages, stuff like that. So I think that Justin Verlander is going to come in and just do what Justin Verlander does. He may only pitch 5 innings, and I'm okay with that. We're not trying to see him throw a complete game shutout. That's Framber Valdez's territory. He is the guy going for the record, not Justin Verlander. So I just want to see this guy get some more innings, lower his ERA, keep his ERA where it is, get some more strikeouts. And I know he may not care about the Cy Young, but it would be such a great story to see somebody coming off the Cy Young win the Cy Young award. So anyway, any other questions before we end the show? But I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Rafael Montero's looking good. Aledmys Diaz's home run was 386 feet. Ironically, Alvarez's double was 389 feet. Trey Mancini's double, and it looked pretty good, was 375 feet. Jeremy Pena had I want to say it was a flyout, but it was 373 feet. And Christian Vazquez's double was 368 feet. So the Astros did have a lot of distance in today's game. So that's really good. I mean, only one of them was a home run, but that home run counted. So anyway, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Brett will be back on Sunday. I'll be back on Sunday, and we'll be back as a team. But definitely we'll go ahead and end the show right now. But make sure you go and tune in to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Make us your first listen every day. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. And go and check out Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast. He does a great job of just talking about baseball in general. So that's all we got for this edition. And Go Astros, let's beat the A's and go and lower that magic number. And so hopefully we can clinch pretty soon. Go Astros.